Alright Transformers family, it is review time. I am the 80s Transformer fan and you are watching George Reviews. Today on George Reviews, I'll be taking a look at Takara Tomy Hasbro Transformers the Movie 1986 Studio Series Ironhide. Here he is in front of us in a newer style packaging. Gone is the plastic parts, well most of the plastic parts because he still has a plastic tie-on on him. I just picked this guy up January the 8th on a Sunday. This past weekend. First time I saw him in the stores. I know people get these figures early, months early, but I would never ever jump through hoops to get a toy. I'm not paying extra costs for shipping overseas. I'm not paying a scaled up price for somebody scalping them from the factory over in China or wherever these toys are made at now. So when I get them, I get them. And I just got this guy, was anxious to take a look, so picked him up, was excited. It was two of these figures on the shelf. Make my way to the register after looking at all the other toys, and I ran into like a ton of new releases from G.I. Joe to He-Man to everything. Like I saw Rakondo, I saw the movie version of Skeletor from Masters of the Universe, I saw new Obi-Wan, saw the new Boba Fett on card back, just a ton of guys, and I was like, wow. So I'm trying to decide what's best to spend my money. Wind up taking Ironhide to the register, right? I get to the register and this guy rings up at $36. He is a Voyager class figure. The box feels kind of heavy, to be honest with you, but this is a Voyager class figure now at 36 bucks, and I almost put it back. I was like, I am going to put it back. It doesn't look that great, actually. I've seen some of the images. I've seen people posting theirs on social media that they have it, and but he does look better than, what was it, the Earthrise release when he came in a 2-pack, and then he was like a parts former, like the roof of the van came off and he had to hold it. Now that version, when it was out, I wanted that version, but I never saw it online, and I was not going to pay the aftermarket markup. They didn't make it easy to get, and if I can't just walk into a store and get it or order it at retail price from like an Amazon or Big Bad or Entertainment Earth, I am not going to chase that figure. I'm like, honestly, I'm too old for that mess. Like, I got to be able to just grab it at retail price, or I will just let it go. I'm not that much of a stickler or a completist. So my immediate opinion of this toy standing at the register after seeing the price was like, he's not worth it. Like I said, I've seen the pictures where people got their figures. I've seen the open product. I've seen the product shots like right here on the back of the box, and I'm like, it could actually look better actually. And for the 36 bucks, I'm already on the downside of this, but I bought it because he's such an important character to Transformers, so important to the movie, and by him being such a tough character, him and Brawn, but we're dealing with Ironhide right now, a tough character, and to just get killed off, it was like jaw-dropping. So I got this guy because of his importance in the Transformers lore. He's not really one of my favorite characters. I don't think Ironhide makes my top 20 Transformers characters of all time, as far as my personal favorites, but I realize his importance and just having him in the collection. So I gritted my teeth and I purchased it, and here it is. So let's take a look. Alright, this is the new standard packaging. Gone is a plastic window. You can see Ironhide's upper torso and right arm in the box right there. He still has plastic tying him down, so we don't know what that's about. Studio Series 8 and up, Ironhide. Some artwork for Ironhide on the side of the box. You see 86 right there. The back of the box, it says big screen inspired. Scale detail backdrop. We got Transformers movie Ironhide right here. Decepticon shuttle ambush. And I blame Optimus Prime for that. 26 steps. You can see him out of the box in a little background over here. Close up of the artwork, and he is indeed a Voyager class figure. So let's get Ironhide open and take a look at how poorly I spent my money. Here's an Ironhide on a piece of the inside of the shuttle tied down. Check out the back. Assuming these are his weapons, we'll get to that. And reach inside, get the remainder of the backdrop. Here's the cutout backdrop. These things are pretty awesome, but they can keep them if it will save me a few bucks in the pricing. Like if they was like, we don't add this and we'll knock off $3, $4. I'd like knock off $3 or $4. Here's the instructions right here for our Ironhide. Bam, bam. And our warning, choking hazard, small parts, not for children under 3. So let's get Ironhide unpackaged. I think I got them all, but I always somehow miss one. Nope. I have them all Here is our Ironhide. The back here we have his weapons. Some tissue paper. He has 2 guns. I'm pretty sure he's packaged with 2 guns because they're going to print the exact same toy, or pretty much the same toy for Ratchet, and they didn't want to change that much in the production line. So Ratchet's going to come with 2 pistols as well, a light bar and a different head. So real quick, just for laughs and one quick photo, let's get him up on the stand. Boom. So let's have a go at our Ironhide and bring him closer. Take a look at his face. He has light blue eyes. They're so far like at the verge of underneath the helmet that it's kind of hard. You got to lean him back to see his eyes. Silver painted face. Traditional helmet with like this mohawk on it from the cartoon. The blue translucent windshield in the front, and it's like a foggy plastic. It's not like that the Takara version where it's like more see-through. It already looks like it's dirty, but that's like the Hasbro fog. It's the same on like the Masterpiece figures and every other figure they make. It's just always a little bit hazier than Takara releases. Not that these guys have Takara releases anymore, but and one thing that bugs me, at 36 bucks, the top of my windshield is not painted. That's an eyesore. The top of these windshields right here need to be painted. And I don't like that. And matter of fact, he's totally devoid of paint. He's either one plastic or another, except for his hands. And this is where it gets weird and pisses me off. Like, I don't know if you can see in here or right here. You can see the red in the hands. The hands are red plastic, but they use gray plastic for the shoulder. Why would you not give me gray plastic hands so I don't have to worry about the paint scuffing off, putting a gun in it out or banging it? Or him just falling over, maybe on the shelf, just knocking off the paint. So I don't like that. We got the smallest of Autobot symbols right here. And it's not even, it's just the outline on his chest. They didn't even fully make the whole Autobot symbol. Wow. Alright, coming down to his waist, we have some lighter gray plastic right here. Little piece flips up. The legs are the same gray plastic. I can feel these panels moving, so they're not exactly locked down. Maybe I can lock them down more, I don't know, but nope. They kind of just hang out, just fold back, and as time they get loose, they'll fall forward. Bottom of his feet, you see the translucent plastic everywhere. And I like translucent windows, but man, like, it's everywhere. You got the hinges on the legs. And he's wearing a bit of the bumper on his back. Now, I don't mind this because it has to go somewhere. You can see some of the tires. And I understand what they have to do engineering-wise to get it to look like a robot transform and not be overcomplicated. So, okay, now, I probably could have held off a little bit later for this because this is sort of my critique. But I want to put our 1986 Studio Series Ironhide next to the cartoon model. And tell me what's the first thing you see. The first thing that jumps out at me is the legs and waist area is not colored correctly. And I kind of noticed that out of the box. And I was waiting for a moment like this where I can comment on it. I was maybe wait to the end, but I need to talk about it now because there's a couple other things I want to talk about. So the legs aren't colored correctly, but they did get the little diamond shape on the waist that was drawn in over here. It's kind of compromised due to the hinge right here. But speaking of the hinge, it is a darker gray plastic and it's a different gray than on the shoulders. They should have used this gray straight down and it would have looked a lot better because it just throws everything off, or almost everything off. Then you got these panels over here, and I get it. These panels needed to go somewhere, but that's off. Then we come to the chest. Now this is what really made Ironhide and Ratchet on a cartoon. The way the chest sticks out at the bottom, and you can see the Autobot symbol like over here, and like even though this is a super tiny Autobot symbol, and the angles are kind of different because this is sitting on the table, and this is like a hologram, but you can see that the chest is not blocky enough. This is kind of smoothed out and more modernized, which it didn't need to be because this is the 1986 Studio Series Ironhide. We need that blockiness that was sort of signature to Ironhide. You know what I mean? Like this big hunk of metal with a windshield in it sitting on his chest. And we don't have that here. And I'm very disappointed in that because it almost looks like a preschool version toy of Ironhide. You know, you clearly know it's Ironhide, but it's not quite. This just doesn't nail it. I think it's better than the Amazon exclusive one. I didn't have that one, but this still doesn't quite nail it. I kind of hope for more for this 86 Studio Series version, and I hope for more at the $36 price point, but we don't have that. Moving on. Articulation. Let's take a look, shall we? Ironhide can look up this far. He can't look up a great deal because his head is hitting the back of this panel right here, and that's all we can get. He can look down this far, which is a lot, and there's no rocking side to side, which is a shame. His head will 360, but if we wanted to get him to look up more because of his waist articulation, you can lean him back a bit without it looking weird. Still looks natural. He can look up that far. Coming to his shoulder. Shoulder hinge is out this far. And there is a molded in hinge right here. A sort of robotic looking hinge where they just went a little bit out of their way to put a little detailing in there. Then we can rotate it at that hinge right there. We come to his bicep swivel. And his elbow bend right there. His fist will 360. Coming back to that waist we just talked about. Man, it's actually not at the waist, it's at the legs. The waist 360s. And then the waist comes up right here to allow front movement to this degree and to the back this much. Side to side. Complete thigh swivel right there. Knee bend. Oh, gotta move that panel up again. It's holding it down. Knee bend this much. And the rocker, and it comes all type of loose. I'm assuming this is some transformation right there, but we get some side to side. We get the transformation in a minute, and we can get a wider stance and keep both his feet on the ground. Bam, let's get his skirt down. Boom. All right, now for his weapons. These are his guns. These are the generic guns that were drawn in from the cartoon, and these cheap bastards at Hasbro hollowed this little gun out. How much plastic are they saving by hollowing this thing out? I mean, look at that. I would wish they had made two halves, cleaved it in two and put it together, and save the money on the inside and have it look like this. Alright, I'm going to go a little bit off script, but not really. Not that I have a script. This is Ironhide's masterpiece gun. You can see how it just takes away from the gun. It's like you don't even know what's going on. Does this gun actually function? It looks like it's broken. I mean, compared to this one. Well, this is what was drawn in and the animators created for the cartoon for Ironhide. Boom. And once again, I'm going to say it again. I probably said it 5-6 times. He comes with two guns because two guns are going to come with ratchet. He had two in the movie, and they don't want to change the tooling and the production run for these guys, so he just gets two guns. And I'm not complaining about getting two guns, but I would rather have had a blast effect. Whatever happened to the blast effects? I'd have took one blast effect and one gun. That would have been cool. So those are his guns. You know what? I didn't even check to see if it stores on his body. I don't see ports sticking out of this guy like some of the Siege and other figures. There's something. This might be a port under here. I don't know. I don't think it stores. Let's keep moving. We're going to move on to Ironhide's transformation. Let's start with those hands that we already saw. They fold down, look like just a bit. Boom. And the chest. I've been trying to get this thing open. There it is. Oh, he has extra panel in here. Wow. And we have a bit of windshield in there. Boom. Fold that open. Boom. And the chest goes down. Hello. Hello. Just like that. And we are going to take this part off his back, the bumper off of his back. And we are going to rotate the top half of the chest around because that is the front of the car. And I don't know if I'm probably doing this out of sequence, but here we have the front of the car done and done. Now we're going to take these arms, rotate them to the back. I'm doing this correctly. Spin them around because this is the roof of the truck or van or whatever. Bring this to the back, and we have a tab and a port, so I'm definitely right there. Tab and port for me. Bam, it actually clicks in. Sounds good. It's good. And because this is the roof, we have to arc this up to make it like flat across the top right there. All right, next we want to tab these together, almost tab together. There's two tabs and two ports to stabilize the legs. And now we're going to start to transform these side panels. Lift this up on both sides. And then we fold them both forward. And they kind of fill this space right here. We can get them in here. They go behind the roof of the truck right there and cover these little arm pieces. So we have that. Now we transform these panels. This is like the back of the truck already. So we open these up. It reveals some more windshield, so we know where these things go. We transform this up and around. And same thing on this side, up and around. There's some clips. It just went right in for me on that side. Let's see if it goes in for me on this side. And no. Let's try my right hand. And there we go. I'm dominantly right-handed and it sucks sometimes. And we just tab a couple of these. There's one back here, sort of like on dead end. And now it's coming apart. We can just hold it together. Come on. Here we got it. Oh, no. You stay in there. Alright, I mostly have it. This is like 99.99. And here is our Ironhide. And there's a few things I noticed already other than I can't keep this tab in. Alright, I'm going to pause the camera and try to force this thing in here and come right back. Alright, like it's easier when you're not reaching around the camera. Alright, we got it in, and a few things I noticed immediately, like where's the yellow or mustard colored stripe going down the side? I think it had a little bit of black on it on the toy. I don't know if they ever drew it in the animation, but definitely had the yellow stripe alongside. And I guess this is the line to represent it that goes down that is not there, and I'm pretty sure Toy Hacks has it and ready to go. But so I noticed that's going right there. There's no painted tail lights at all. And we got a couple different color plastics going on. We got this flat plastic right here and right here on these hinges, which kind of makes it look like eh. Then we have these big hinges right here. Now this hinge here is a lot smaller, and that's okay. But these are kind of a bit of an eyesore. You know, kind of don't like that. So there's a lack of paint, and we got a couple hinges going on some different plastics. And then we got this lettering, this R1 on the inside of the window right here. So on both sides, they had to tell the people at the factory this is the left and this is the right, so they don't screw it up. And now we stuck with it on the windshield. That is crazy. But we do have some paint on the front of the vehicle. We have some silver for the front bumper, and I think this should be unpainted right here. This little side corner and this little groove underneath the lights, but they just went ahead and painted it all anyway. And there's a tiny Autobot logo. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it could be a lot better for 36 bucks. We got this part hanging down right here. Did I do that right? Let's see if it rolls. Rolls great. All 4 tires, I got it paneled in, and I think I did a great job. So let's take a look at this thing next to the cartoon model real quick, shall we? It's just a camera. Here's our Ironhide next to the cartoon model, and they definitely had paint on the cartoon. You can clearly see it right here. I didn't make this up. This is the cartoon model. So we are missing the yellow striping. Now besides that, you clearly see what will be the light bars, where the light bars will clip on for Ratchet. And honestly, I wish I had got Ratchet first, because I don't think I would have bought Ironhide. I would have got that mold and been done with it, and may not have purchased them both. But now I'm going to wind up with 2 whenever they drop Ratchet, which will probably coming soon because we have the mold and everything. I do like the translucent windows going throughout the vehicle. It makes it look more substantial somehow. But I wish they had used a better translucent plastic, or they went with a lighter blue or a clear. That would have been a lot better. But as far as the shape of the vehicle, the actual mold over it, it looks good. It looks good and rolls good. I think this may be Ironhide's strongest mold out of the 2. So let's get some comparisons out here and keep it rolling. Okay, I want to give Ironhide the size up and rundown in vehicle mode. Here he is next to the Siege version. Masterpiece Ironhide. Generation 1. Earthrise Optimus. Generation 1 Optimus Prime. Before we jump back into robot mode, I do want to show that his weapons can store in vehicle mode. They store underneath and sort of represent tailpipes. You can store them both. Now, I don't have to have vehicle weapon storage, but you got to admit, this is pretty clever. I mean, that is pretty clever. I like that right there. So after unboxing Ironhide, taking a look at the figure, giving a full examination, articulation, accessories, and transformation, even the size up and rundown, There are a lot of things I like about Ironhide, but there are a few things that I don't like that are big to me. Like the chest. They just didn't nail the chest. It's not blocky enough. I see what they did. It's there. It's Ironhide, no doubt. But I just wanted the chest to stand out or poke out a little bit more, if you know what I'm saying. If you got what I was trying to show you in the review. And then the waist. This waist hinge is not cool either. Like, it just makes the whole front of Ironhide just look weird. It makes him look shorter than what he really is. He looks a little bit stubby. The light gray on the legs is kind of throwing it off too. And then that tiny Autobot symbol. How could you put basically one paint app? Well, you know, they painted the windshield over red. But basically one paint app on the figure. And it's just so tiny. That Autobot symbol could have been bigger. And again, people will just say, well, Toy Hacks will take care of it. Like the vehicle mode. The vehicle mode could have used a stripe down the side. And people will just run the Toy Hacks. After paying $36, I do not just want to run the Toy Hacks. You know, I just don't. The vehicle mode. The vehicle mode is probably a 7 out of 10. If it had the stripe on, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. The vehicle mode, it looked like Ironhide. It looked like the van, the Cherry Vanette. It's pretty good. And I enjoyed the transformation. Actually, transformation was good. As far as accessories, he got 2 of the same pistols that were hollowed out. He could have dropped one pistol and gave me the blast effect, but I know the reason why we got 2 pistols, so, you know. But yeah, I do not recommend this figure for $36. And that's all I got. I want to thank everybody for watching another episode of George Reviews. The reviews where every toy has a story.